There's a video AI model that generates picture and fully synced sound, dialogue, sound effects, music in the exact same pass with no separate audio step at all, and it's already sitting open on Hugging Face right now. Let's get into it. This is Minimax H3, and today I'm walking you through exactly what it does, what's actually confirmed about it, and one detail about how you're legally allowed to use it that a lot of the hype online is glossing over. Let's go. First, a quick clarification, because launch coverage has genuinely confused people on this. Minimax H3 is a video generation model. It is not the same thing as Minimax M3, which is a separate open-weight language model Minimax released back in June 2026. If you've heard people call this Hailuo 3.0, that's just the consumer nickname from Minimax's Hailuo app. Minimax's own documentation and official accounts use only H3 or Minimax H3. So what actually is it? Minimax describes H3 as a general-purpose omni-modal generation model. In plain terms, instead of being a text-to-video tool with some extra features bolted on, it's built to understand text, images, video, and audio all together as one unified context. That's a meaningful architectural difference from how a lot of earlier video generators worked, where text-to-video, image-to-video, motion reference, and video editing were often separate expert models stitched together behind the scenes. H3 folds all of that into a single system, where you can describe reference relationships in plain language. Minimax's own example is a good illustration. Something like, take the camera movement from this video, have the character in this image sing, and match the vocals to this audio clip, all in one request. H3 launched on July 31st, 2026, live through Minimax's platform API under the model ID Minimax H3, and in the consumer Hailuo AI app. On specs, it generates clips from 4 to 15 seconds long in integer durations at up to 2K resolution and 24 frames per second. And the audio is native, meaning dialogue, ambience, and sound effects are produced in the same generation pass as the video itself, not added afterward as a separate scoring or Foley step. You can guide a generation using up to 9 reference images, 3 reference video clips, and 3 reference audio clips in a single request. On pricing, the official pay-as-you-go rate for 2K output is 13 cents per second, which works out to about $7.80 per minute of generated video. At launch, a lower resolution 768p tier was listed at 9 cents per second but was still in closed beta. The first 5 reference images in a request are free, with additional ones billed separately. Now, how good is it, really? On the Artificial Analysis Leaderboard, which is a third-party benchmark tracker rather than Minimax's own internal testing, H3 has ranked first in the video editing with audio category and placed in the top 3 for both text-to-video and image-to-video. That's a genuinely strong, independent showing. Though, as always with any leaderboard, it reflects a specific set of test prompts and criteria. So it's worth treating as a strong signal rather than the final word, especially for your own specific use case. Here's where it gets interesting, and where Minimax actually followed through on something a lot of companies just promise and never deliver. At launch, Minimax said open weights would follow within days. 3 days later, on August 3rd, 2026, they actually shipped them, publishing the model on Hugging Face under Minimax AI/Minimax-H3 with a same-day comfy UI integration. The model itself is 33 billion parameters, and thanks to some efficient packaging, the practical download for local use is around 42.5 gigabytes rather than the full 123 gigabyte checkpoint. Since a large portion of the parameters live in modulation branches, that inference doesn't actually need to load. Within days, the community had it running on everything from gaming GPUs to MacBooks, working fully offline. And support has since expanded to frameworks like SGLang, VLLM, and diffusers. Now here's the detail I promised you, the one that matters if you're actually planning to self-host this. The open weights are released under the Minimax H3 Community License Agreement, effective August 2nd, 2026. On paper, that license allows free non-commercial use and commercial use for organizations under $20 million in annual revenue with an attribution requirement.
That sounds straightforward, but the license explicitly excludes the United States, the European Union, the United Kingdom, and South Korea from what it defines as the applicable territory for locally run weights.
In plain terms, if you're in one of those regions, you are not currently licensed to download and run the H3 weights on your own hardware, even under the free non-commercial terms, without separate authorization directly from Minimax. That restriction applies specifically to running the open weights locally. It does not apply to the hosted API, which remains globally available, because that runs on infrastructure Minimax controls directly. So if you're in the US, UK, EU or South Korea, using H3 through the official API or the Hailuo app is fine. Self-hosting the open weights on your own machine is the part that currently falls into a legal gray zone for those regions. Minimax's own documentation acknowledges this is tied to a fast-moving regulatory picture around video models specifically and frames the current limitation as, in their words, not yet rather than not ever. Point is, if you're excited about running this locally, actually read the license file for your region before you build a workflow around it, because a lot of the viral excitement online has skipped straight past this part. Putting the legal side aside, from a pure capability standpoint, Minimax is positioning H3 for advertising, branding, e-commerce and product listings, UI and UX mockups, gaming cinematics, and film pre-visualization work. Ad variant generation, animated posters, website hero loops, and character-consistent game cinematics are all use cases Minimax has specifically called out, and given the reference-driven unified context design, those feel like a genuinely good fit for the tool. So here's the practical takeaway. If you want to try H3 today, the fastest path is the Hailuo AI app or Minimax's official API, both live and accessible globally right now. If you're a developer who wants to self-host, the weights are genuinely out on Hugging Face. The community has already built serious tooling around it in days, but you need to actually check whether your region is covered under the current license before you deploy anything locally, especially for commercial use. If breakdowns like this, the kind that also tell you about the license fine print nobody's talking about, are useful to you, do me a favor, follow this page and subscribe to the channel, because this space moves fast and we're here to give you the full picture, not just the exciting half of it. So that's Minimax H3, a genuinely capable omni-modal video model with native synced audio, strong independent leaderboard rankings, and a real fast open weight release, with one important licensing catch depending on where you're watching this from. Let me know in the comments if you've tried it yet, and I'll see you in the next one.